Welcome to another episode of Badass Banking, and today I've got a guest from you're in Michigan today, correct?
That is correct.
All right, and your name is there are a lot of vowels, so forgive me, but it's Shoaib Shafquat.
You got it, my friend, right away.
That is amazing because I'm really bad at pronunciation. So tell us about your company. I know the name of the company is QCheque. And you're a big believer in fraud mitigation via tokenization. And that's a mouthful too.
Yes, here's a little story, what's going on. About a few years ago, we introduced EMV chip for the credit cards, where in the United States, at least. And it helped mitigate the fraud on the debit and card side. However, we failed to do much on the ACH and check side. Remember, in the payments business, we are fintech, talking about the payments. And we saw that opportunity to do something about it. And especially in the ACH, and check, your account is wild, wild west. When you write a check happens to be one of the instrument used for your checking account. Your bank account is essential service to you. And about 90% of the US citizens have a bank account, one way or the other. And banking being essential service, your account number needs to be protected. And that's what we are doing with the tokenization. We are utilizing the tokenization. A friend of mine called it chip on a check.
Chip on a check.
Just like chip on a check. Just like we are helping credit card transaction with the chip, we are, in our side of the business, QCheque is helping ACH and check transaction with the tokenization.
Right. And tell me a little about some of the clients you have so far. Is it mostly banks or some credit unions?
Couple banks and couple credit unions. And there is a tier one bank. However, I am not at this moment, because we are a startup, and in the phase that we are in there, and they want to be they look at tokenization as their blue ocean strategy, and they wanted to offer this as a checking account service.
Gotcha.
So it's a banking account service, basically.
Yep.
They want to offer it.
Yeah. So do you see tokenization and security as a very strong benefit related to the future of consumer checking? Do you think it'll be something that'll be coveted or prized by consumers because of concerns regarding fraud and privacy?
Absolutely. And regardless of how much we talk about the mobile and all especially the contactless space, we are receiving requests from people all over the area. And account privacy is important. Yes, we protected everything else, but account number needs to be protected. And not just that, this day and age, 20% or so your online banking transaction, when you do the bill payment is the weakest link. Because remember, fraudster needs to be successful only one time to sit in your identity. And 20% of our online bill payment transaction end up in a paper check. Here's the use case of you paying your landscape guy or your babysitter, or you got a loan from credit union, which was a lower interest, but you kept your primary account, whatever your definition of primary account is. I watched your episode the other day. Yeah. It's a difference, but you kept your primary account with a big bank, but your auto loan is with the credit union. And when you went to the big bank, you made your auto loan payment. Credit union space, we go by the member number and loan ID and the share ID. And the big bank has no desire to consolidate with the little credit union. So they're going to cut your auto loan check, throw it in the mail, and hoping that you will get it. Your credit union will get it about 7 to 10 days later, and somebody in the back office will open up the mail and process your check, and hoping that nobody intercepts in between.
Yeah, and that's a big risk. I saw something on your website regarding the amount of fraud related to the postal service and bad checks. It was like $86 billion. Was that the right number?
62 billion was the value of the U.S. Postal Service. They intercepted those checks.
$62 billion. Wow.
Yes. And 2018 results were the actual fraud was 15 billion. That was the real fraud happened. And the 2019 results came in, that was about 7 billion or so. So we're talking billions of dollars, and it's the real money.
Yeah.
The sad thing is, banks, whoever gets hit with that, they don't like to publish. Sorry to say that, but that's not a good number to be publishing. And it is sad, but it's happening.
Yep. And the cost of that fraud is spread throughout the ecosystem. Consumers ultimately are paying a piece of that. Businesses paying a piece of that. Processors and banks and credit unions. So it's
absolutely,
we're all losing on fraud. There's no doubt about it. Are you seeing an increased interest in fraud mitigation over the last several months, maybe conceivably related to the COVID pandemic?
Yes.
Are you?
Yes. Because what's happening is people are not able to go and retrieve their mail from the mailbox, because especially our sweet spot type of customer is the small businesses, because they still heavily rely on the check system. Their accounting systems are so embedded in it, they still have to throw those mail. And again, just wanted to clarify, tokenization, even though check is like one of those easy things to understand, right? It's a physical thing, comes to your mind, but when we are behind the scene talking about it, it's a tokenization or privacy and security.
Right. Gotcha. Now you're speaking, I know, in September on the 15th at the Faster Payments Council fall member meeting. What are you going to be talking about there?
Oh, we wrote a white paper recently. By the way, we did that's where I learned the recording trick from there. Last week I learned the trick. We recorded in advance our Q&A part of it, and the white paper talks about the different fraud methods or how the fraudsters begin. Faster Payment is a not-for-profit type of organization, and all banks, from the big banks to small fintechs like us, about a couple hundred people are getting together, and we wrote this white paper about the fraud issues, how it happens. Faster payment does not mean the faster fraud, basically.
Right.
And getting all of us getting together in one room, or I think last year was the first couple times we met together, but those were the days. They're gone now. Meeting in Boston and meeting in New York. No, it's all.
Yeah, I missed the travel. I guess it'll get back to normal at some point, whatever normal is. Hard to tell. So tell me a little about how you got started doing this. I came across a use case. I'm an IT guy who tried to solve business problems with technology. Mm-hmm. And I was providing a second, third level support at one of my previous employers, and I was doing a fraud investigation. A person walked in and they had a Visa card with a financial institution, and they went online to make their payment. And when they made their payment, they just entered the number. Remember, banks ask you, you want to make your payment? Give me your routing number and account number. Make your payment. That's great. And they just entered any number. Routing number is a public information. That's every bank publishes. Or account number is a private, but numeric value is available over there. You can come up with the number. If the bank or credit union or person who's accepting the payment, they're not validating in real time,
You can enter any number. And when I saw that use case and the person walked away with lots of money, and not just that, that was just saddening to my heart. I came home, talked to my wife, and I could not believe how easy it was. Oh, yes, routing number and account number. I do it every day. I just throw the check in the mail, and somebody can be stealing my account number from my mailbox.
Yeah. And that's why I don't like checks. They're very antiquated in their simplest form, right?
Yes, and that's how we came up with that. First few years we tried with that's where the word Q came in there. We were using the QR code instead of your routing and account number. That's what we were putting. Well, we were replacing the account number with the QR code. The routing number still stays there. And if I can actually show you. Do you want to see how they actually look like the tokenized check?
Yeah, if we can try it, yeah.
Yeah, let me share my screen. Host has disabled the sharing screen, but that's okay. I can email it to you later on. How about that?
Yeah, email it to me later on, and and actually give me a link where I can post it.
Okay. So that was that's how we came across. So first few 18 months or so, we tried to use the QR code, and then it was very difficult for the banking executive to comprehend. And if you come across my old Silicon Valley pitch at the Finnovates, we were using the QR code at that time.
Gotcha.
But we learned so far from there. And then we said, okay, let's use the tokenization. It's a numeric value. So now we only use alias values. That's how it came from a real life experience, a person stealing money from a financial institution.
Right.
And we wanted to stop the bad guys.
Yeah, well, stopping the bad guys is important because we're all paying the price for this. There's no doubt about it. Listen, it's been great talking to you. I think you got something pretty exciting here. I'm going to post all your info that you give me in the video link down below, your LinkedIn
profile.
So if anybody wants to learn more, they'll be able to reach you through either your website or right through LinkedIn. If you've got a link to that white paper, I'd like to publish that as well. I think that would be interesting for the audience.
Absolutely. I believe I'm able to share with that because it is a public information, and we are sharing it. Because one of the questions that they asked me to say, how do people keeping up with the trends and what's going on in the industry? And honestly, I really like what you're doing it, and Badass Banker is, one of those good places where you learn lots of good stuff. Actually, Brett King was at one of our notches early 97. He was a speaker over there, keynote speaker.
Yeah.
So you're doing a great work too.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm just trying to connect the dots between, what the consumer needs and what the fintechs and the banks and credit unions are able to offer. So it's just about having collaboration, and hopefully people will like and subscribe and comment. It was great to meet you. Again, I'll share all your info down below.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Take care.